Hiya, little video before I head off to Bilbao. I'm going to get there on Tuesday afternoon, same route as I did for the semi-final. Going to get a train from Barcelona right away across to the Basque Country. I was at 4 games this weekend, so I'm shattered. Been travelling here, there and everywhere. Been to 3 different countries. I didn't do the ratings for Chelsea. I wasn't at the game. It's really bad in the league. Don't know why I'm laughing, because it is concerning, and my worry is that we know the focus has been on Bilbao for the last couple of months. Can Manchester United just flick a switch in the summer and start playing well with a few new players? How does the mentality shift from losing all the time to winning all the time? It's a real worry how few points Manchester United have got. But Tottenham Hotspur have got even fewer points, and like Manchester United, they've been good in Europe. So I've actually watched Tottenham closely this year in Europe. Against Bodo Glimt, very good result. I watched them against AZ, I watched them against Eintracht Frankfurt away. So they've done well to get to the final. And like United, they've been physically superior to most of their European oppositions. They've got bigger squads. And then the 2 English teams meet in the final in a great city. Have a look at the guide I've done to Bilbao. I've been there many, many times. So if you go in, and loads are, that could be useful for you. I think the mood in the United camp, it's not despondent. I think there's a bit of confidence there. There's a realisation Tottenham are going to be without 3 of the best players in the midfield position. That's what it's looking like at the moment. A feeling that there can't be a 4th defeat against the same team in one season, and that United actually played well, especially in the cup game. Tottenham in December, if not in the league game at Old Trafford. The manager's getting support. People are still singing for him. It might be weird to an outsider because the team's clearly failing. But there's defiance there. Maybe some desperation as well. But it's not unconditional. Things have got to improve. And a Europa League win would massively help for many reasons. Financial. Manchester United will get into the Champions League next season. And it's a trophy. It's glory, glory. That's why we follow. That's why we love. That's why thousands of people have gone to Bilbao via Biarritz and Toulouse and Paris and Zaragoza and Victoria and San Sebastian and Santander and Madrid and Barcelona. It's a big deal. I don't look down on this competition. Manchester United are where they are. Of course, the team should be in the Champions League, but imagine this team in the Champions League this year. They ain't getting to the final of it. So this competition is much more suited towards Manchester United. What does the manager do? Well, Spurs are actually quite predictable in the way that they play. They are aggressively attacking. They're actually quite entertaining to watch. But because of the way they press, they pick up a lot of injuries, and they also concede a lot of goals and lose a lot of matches. They'll probably be slightly more pragmatic against Manchester United, and there'll probably be nerves there because it's a huge game for them as well. Their manager's under massive pressure and will likely lose his job. Manchester United's manager's under massive pressure and will likely not lose his job. But some of the comments he's made have been pretty alarming to some people. He's brutally honest. Sometimes he backtracks a little bit. It's not like he's getting briefed or listening to it, where he's just coming out and saying, if it doesn't work out, maybe I should be replaced. And that sends about a very mixed message to fans. He's done that 3 or 4 times this year on slightly different themes. And then he goes back and says, I didn't quite mean it like that. He's had a lot of goodwill when you consider how bad the team has been. Even now, there's a lot of people really want him to succeed because it's not just on the manager. And they've been through this cycle of just replacing all the time. But at some point, he has to show that he's working as Manchester United manager. Fans have got to believe in his idea of what he's trying to do, in his players, and he's been defensive over those players. Rasmus Højlund is a bit of a scapegoat at the moment. United fans They want to know what's going on. They want an answer. They're frustrated. The goal scorer's not scoring. It's a struggle watching Højlund. I'm not going to invoke a pile on a player. On a young lad, it's difficult enough as it is playing for Manchester United in very trying circumstances, but it's a difficult watch. It's a hard watch. We know that. We know what we're seeing. Start with him against Tottenham. Well, fortunately, Manchester United have got different attacking options. So Ahmad is back. I think you can now consider him to be one of the more important players. So in this competition so far, United have needed the big experienced players to get through. Casemiro in this competition, if not the Premier League. Bruno Fernandes, best player by a mile. Harry Maguire has had a better season. Nus Mazraoui has been a good signing. So two of them players I've mentioned are defenders, and that's the area where Manchester United have got the injury concerns. It is such a huge game for Manchester United. It's just massive. So apart from anything else, if there's no European football next year, that's like 14, 12 less games. And that will drag. It really dragged in 14, 15 under David Moyes. And I've heard the argument put that it allows the manager time on the training pitch with his players. That may be true, but he also has to manage a squad who need to play. And the Europa League's actually been good for giving players minutes, although he does tend to go very strong. Also, the people who pay the manager's wages would not agree with that perspective. They need games, they need ticket revenues, they need broadcast revenues. And I think the Europa League is a respected competition. I mean, win the Europa League and suddenly Manchester United are in the Super Cup against PSG or Inter in Italy in August, going into the Champions League. The confidence will just jump up 20 points. That makes sense? And I saw what Rotterdam did for United in 91. I interviewed Ferguson a few weeks after that. And he said it just helped so much. Them players hadn't transformed themselves in a few weeks. They just had the belief that they could beat a top team. Tottenham Hotspur are not a top team, but they've looked at it times against Manchester United this season. It's been so grim. It's been the worst form I've ever seen in my life as a Manchester United fan. And I apologise for sounding quite downbeat, but I've just got to reflect the mood. When we started United We Stand, when we were kids in 89, the team were 8th. And for decades I said, imagine Man United being 8th. And now the team are... I was at West Ham yesterday for work. I was at Arsenal yesterday for work. I saw the despondency among the West Ham fans because they've been really bad. They've won 1 in 10. That was against Manchester United at Old Trafford. This is the worry. Everyone's beating Manchester United. So we have a final in the top city. Got to get behind the team. It's a final. There's not been many European finals. These don't happen every year for Manchester United. The previous one was in 21, 17, 11, 9, 8. But before that, it's a long time. Before treble, 91. It's only 68. So it's a big week. It's a big game. The fans need to do their bit. The players absolutely need to do their bit and hope that this fortuitous Europa League run continues, but deserved also. There's been some good football, there's been some good goals, and there's been some good wins against some good teams. I'm saying good, I'm not saying great, but this Manchester United team, I've got a chance, a big chance. United got a Bilbao. Looking forward to it. Fingers crossed, because I'm a bit nervous as well. I'm sure we all are. I will do some ratings, I promise, from high up in the main stand at the wonderful San Mamés Stadium in the wonderful Basque city of Bilbao. Fingers crossed, everybody.